We're starting our first start sit situation with Patrick Mahomes, who you may have rostered and drafted in the fifth, sixth round, versus Geno Smith, who's been absolutely fire with the Seattle Seahawks. It might be crazy. It might be asinine. It might be psychotic to bench Patrick Mahomes. But at this point, Justin, what are we doing?
Dude, I was looking through the lineups on Monday and all the matchups and everything, and I was like, you know what? Like, I was like, okay, let's. Geno Smith has been consistently up there. He's been doing really well this year. I was like, who's around his range? And I was like, you know what? Patrick Mahomes isn't having the greatest season. I mean, he's not scored more than 18 points in a fantasy in a week period this year so far. 17.3 is his most against Atlanta in week 3. And now he's going to go up against New Orleans, who has a pretty decent secondary. They have a pretty decent defense. Like, it is a tough matchup this week for the Chiefs against them. And then on the flip side, you got Geno Smith and going up against the New York Giants at home. A lot of people might be surprised by this, but it's week 5. Like, at the start of the season, we say start your studs. That's who you drafted. Play the guys that we know they're supposed to be, and maybe Patrick Mahomes does rise to the occasion this week. But down Rashi Rice, down Isaiah Pacheco. Now you have Kelsey, who now can just be double covered. Period. Because who else are they going to throw the ball to? Justin Watson, who I saw you pick up in waivers this week, by the way. Um,
Unfortunately.
or or do you got Geno on the other side, who's got DK, Tyler Lockett, JSN, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet. He's got an entire loaded offense right now. I lean towards Geno Smith this week. He's got the easier matchup. He's done better. He's ranked higher, and it's earlier in the week. I mean, like, that doesn't really matter. It's a 4 p.m. Eastern game over the Monday night game with the Chiefs. That's the only kicker, is that the Chiefs are playing on Monday night and they always play well in prime time. But I think I do lean Geno Smith this week.
I'm not going to argue with you too much about this because it seems like Geno Smith is a smarter play going against the New York Giants. It can be had, or that could be an ugly matchup. We don't know. It could be. This is a new Seahawks offense. We're seeing a lot of more explosive plays. DK Metcalf is getting open. Kenneth Walker is balling out. If he continues to do that, is Geno going to really excel? And then you look on the other side, Patrick Mahomes. This reminds me of, although this is earlier in his career, where remember when, and maybe you don't because you're young, remember when Aaron Rodgers went through his Aaron Rodgers is a streaming quarterback era. Do I remember that because I said this on the show. I said this guy was a streaming quarterback 2018, 2019. He finished outside the top 10 both years in fantasy. And that was just a blimp. Like, okay, Aaron Rodgers is still the GOAT, but he doesn't need to throw for 40 touchdowns and 5,000 yards to win football games. And I think that's where Patrick Mahomes is at in his career, where they're just trying to win football games. They're just trying to win Super Bowls. They're just trying not to be stressed out because, like I was told from a broadcaster, I thought having no rings was stressful. So Patrick Mahomes just cares about winning, and rings and stats can go away. He's fine handing the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco when he was there, and now Kareem Hunt. He's okay with peppering the ball to Christian Watson if he's open. Christian Watson, is that his name? Is that his name? What's his name? Who's the Watson? Justin
Justin
Watson.
Watson.
Justin
You're
Watson
thinking
over
of Christian
there.
Watson and Green
Yeah,
Bay.
that bum over. There's two bums named Watson, and one plays for the Chiefs.
Well,
He
there's
doesn't.
3, but
Who's the third?
he plays for the Browns.
Oh, I'm talking about receivers. I don't care. Oh, you're right. There's another guy. But the thing is Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to need to throw the ball a million times and for 3,000 yards or 350 yards a game to win games anymore. That's just not how they're set up. So I'm starting Geno Smith. Geno to me is this. It's going to sound weird because Mahomes is usually the safer one,
Safer bet.
but
At this
Geno's
point in the season, it's the safer bet. Mahomes he's tied for the second most turnover worthy plays with 7 this season. He's only behind Jalen Hurts. Who would have thought that Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts could be side by side in a negative context? Like, who would have thought that at the beginning of the season? Not me, and not this guy. But that's the fact. That's where we are right now. Patrick Mahomes and Anthony Richardson are tied for second in the most turnover worthy plays this season through 4 weeks.
Yep. Yeah, and when you lose your top talent, Rasheed Rice was his top talent. We do have questions in the chat regarding that. Um, That's hard to overcome. Take any quarterback and take their top talent away. That quarterback's going to struggle. We saw it happen when Devontae Adams left Aaron Rodgers. He struggled for a couple of years. It just happens.
Hmm.
So is Kelsey going to be the Kelsey from 2019 through 2020, 21? I don't think he is. And who else? We've seen the
He had
Juju.
that week, but
We've
he had a week.
we've seen the Juju show. We've seen the
Yeah.
Sky Moore show. We've seen it all.
McCole Hardman, like all
Oh,
of these players are still there. They still win the Super Bowl, but like none of them are fantasy relevant except for Travis Kelsey. And when defenses know that, I mean, look at what they've already done to Travis Kelsey this year so far. They've been able to lock him down until they played the Chargers, which they own the Chargers, so it doesn't really matter. That's beside the point. Like Kelsey's going to be bracketed more than Mark Andrews. I feel like at this point, like they're going to take, they have to take Kelsey out of the game, and if they take Kelsey out of the game, there is no Mahomes.
I mean, there is a situation where Worthy can catch, an
Worthy,
80-yard
there you go.
bomb. Yeah, Worthy's a wild card here, honestly. If Worthy becomes the next big thing over there and he is actually good at football and he can catch the ball and secure it and run routes and do anything but just run fast, I think Mahomes has a good chance of being that top talent guy. But at the moment, and especially for what you paid for him in the draft, it's looking like a loss because I don't feel comfortable starting Mahomes. He gives
Yeah,
you no rushing upside. Again, he's not going to throwing for 3 touchdowns a game anymore. And it's just a lost cause. So if you could find somebody, and this is more of a season thing, try to flip them. Try to downgrade a little bit, just like or downgrade it in their eyes. Like, hey, I'm giving you Mahomes and like Bucky Irvin. Let me get Jalen Hurts on a buy. Or let me get someone like that who can provide you more upside. Because they're gonna look at that and go, "Oh, Mahomes," and you're giving me like this little nice piece. I'm not saying Bucky Irvin. This is an example. It could be anyone. Like Christian Kirk. Hey, I'm giving you a equal quarterback value, plus you're getting a positional player. And then you're getting out of the Mahomes business and you're upgrading that quarterback. I would do it tenfold. Just let everyone
yeah.
know.